You inspired me to try kitesurfing.
You have no job, you have no income, you have no flat, you have no relationship, you have no plan. I believe when you invest in yourself, there's always a positive outcome, even if that's not the one you was hoping for. I wasted years on trying to grow on a wrong platform. You can be the best content creator on earth, but if no one is watching, it's just useless. I think 2020 and 2021 were the hardest years in my life. Don't call yourself an influencer and don't be afraid to become one.
Welcome to Known, where tech brand builders share their journeys and teach you how to build your own. My name is Maria Frackowiak.
And I'm Maria Peddler.
And we're your hosts for this episode. Today, we're joined by Maria Frackowiak.
Maria is a brand strategist and head of marketing at ADI Foundation. In this episode, we're going to talk about her journey from fish market to becoming Dubai's leading female voice in crypto.
Let's dive in. Hey Maria, thank you so much for being here. How are you today?
All good, all good. Glad to be here.
Yeah, thanks for making it. We're sitting here and it's really a good reminder that we never know one's story. I was super inspired when I saw your LinkedIn and you were talking about your transition, kind of the beginning of your career, how you transitioned from like working at a fish market, cleaning to being one of the leading voices here in Dubai and being like the first woman in crypto in Dubai, like right now. So can you tell us more about your career and your journey?
Yeah, so this journey you're referring to is over a decade long. So no good thing happens in a blink of an eye. But I would say like, when you're referring to this fish market, it all started from an absolute lack of an idea what I want to do as an adult. Many people have this feeling like even in teenage years that they want to become a lawyer, that they want to become a doctor, like a photographer, you know what I mean. So I had no idea at all. And basically I started traveling around the world. I was living in different destinations and I was trying to explore what I want to do and whom I want to become. It was mainly physical jobs, very basic ones, nothing glamorous. I was, as you mentioned, working in the fish market. I was cleaning rooms. I was serving at restaurants. Mainly physical jobs, but always with an amazing view.
And when did you decide to go to crypto? Like, it's pretty a huge shift.
Well, I never made this decision myself, or I never kind of decided to grow up by myself. I was forced to. So it was 2020 and the whole world shut down. And at this point, I already figured out how to work remotely abroad. So my traveling got a lot easier and more comfortable. But it didn't last long. At this point, I was in this kiteboarding circle with the people, chasing wind, traveling to a new destination every quarter, basically living on the beach and not really thinking about tomorrow.
Yeah, very nomadic lifestyle.
Yeah, like
very spontaneous.
Yes, it's all about sport, sleep, workout, very simple life on the beach every day. And then 2020, boom, right? It was all taken away.
COVID.
And that was, and that was the harsh wake-up call. I don't want to use this word because I know that, like, your podcast might be locked or like shadowed banned because of it. So I was trying to walk around it. But that was a really harsh wake-up call for me, for my friends, because all of a sudden you come back home, you come back to your family house because you had no flat, you was traveling all the time. And then you realize like you basically have nothing stable in your life. Like you have no job, you have no income, you have no flat, you have no relationship, you have no plan. So that was a turning point for me. And I think 2020 and 2021 were the hardest years in my life. Complete 180 degrees change. But that was also the time when I met my fiancé. And he introduced me to the whole crypto concept, and that's how it all started.
Right.
Just a short comment here. So I think you don't know about this, but you inspired me to try kitesurfing. when I saw your when I saw your stories on LinkedIn and Instagram.
Amazing.
Even I
Yes.
didn't know that.
Yeah, that's
The
a
best-
quite random fact. Yeah.
The best sport in the world, I think, and I still practice. But nowadays, I'm glad to be a guest, in these resorts and to
Yeah.
experience this sport as a guest, not as a staff working around guests. So that feels good.
I feel like this is an amazing sport that is actually correlating with crypto, and many crypto founders doing this. Yes, so that's a really cool
that's true.
choice.
That's true. 100%. Yeah.
Okay, and basically you went from living on the beach, super nomadic lifestyle, to now working for ADI Foundation in Abu Dhabi, much more, let's say, much more professional corporate structure.
Yeah.
What was the most difficult part of that shift?
Well, as I said, it was over a decade-long shift, so it wasn't that radical. After this nomadic beach lifestyle, I was in a crypto industry as an independent contractor, working with many brands. And then from this, I went to ADGM and this corporate structure. But I would say the biggest challenge was that I have to work and live with someone else's rules, Pretty much all my life I was doing whatever I want. So I had to learn that I'm not steering the boat anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
But do you feel like it's bringing you more maturity and you're kind of stepping like the right path right now, and this is the place where you should be considering your career?
Definitely. I think it's a place for me to be right now. In a bigger structure, you're also able to achieve bigger things that would never be accessible for you in your own setup. So sometimes, yes, you're not a decision maker. You're a piece in a bigger puzzle, but then you're able to deliver bigger things that will be remembered and recognized. So I think this step back is a valuable lesson, to be honest.
Yeah, for sure. And I also see that a lot of people who were quite visible in the region, especially like in Dubai, in crypto, they're being taken by big brands. And some of my friends are taking a step into this path. And I think like this is a very good point of your career. But I was questioning myself, what do you think is the next step after this step?
I think there are three possible pathways after this one. The first one is continuing your corporate career, probably like with the same organization but on a different position, or with a different organization, like providing some change, or being invited to co-found a project, right, from your current network, or then build a project by yourself. I think, when you're slowly getting into being a freelancer, then consulting, then working in a corporate structure, it's difficult to then go down back, to something. So you need to go up from there. And from up, like you can either continue, I think, your corporate career on a different levels or with different brands, or you can kick off something on your own, right? Or being invited to a project like where you become a, stakeholder, when you become a co-founder.
Yeah.
So I think that's the possibilities here.
Yeah, this is a huge trampoline for your future path for sure.
I want to go back on something that Mary said about how visible you were in the ecosystem here in Dubai, and talking about the fact that you're a leading voice here in Dubai. So when did you start investing in your personal brand and spending time actually build it? Like, when did you realize it was extremely important?
I know where you're getting to, but I would say like this, 70% of offers and proposals related to my business life came from my social presence. And even way before crypto, offers like, hey, would you like to work on yachts in Egypt, came from a DM on my Instagram. So the remaining 30% came from me chasing some decision makers. But I was always really active in that space, and I think people extremely underestimate how your social presence can impact your career and opportunities coming to
Right.
you. And so, yeah, from the very beginning of I would say my remote life, like I wasn't really running social media, working in the fish market, but from my like remote work times, I was paying attention to it. And then just when I moved to Dubai, when I started working in the crypto industry, I started before, but when I moved to Dubai, I think I had this big push, like, okay, I'm in the right place, in the right time to make it happen. You know, there is no better place on earth to scale your personal brand than in Dubai because the whole world is watching, right? So from that moment on, I became really consistent with this, and I also started putting money into this, and I guess that's where you're getting to.
Yeah. Actually, what did work or not? Because you're very open on your socials about like the different courses that you've been taking for SMM. But you got burned a couple of times. Like some were not that successful. So, okay, what can you share about this experience?
So yeah, for me, it comes really easy to invest in myself. I would much rather spend money on my growth than on fashion or like a designer bag. You know what I mean? So yeah, every single year I'm trying to make an investment related to my personal brand growth or in general career growth. And I think there's always a positive outcome or experience coming from it, even if a certain course or a certain coach wasn't suitable or basically failed. So yeah, I would say despite many failures in that field, I'm still becoming, I'm still optimistic and try and invest. Just to give you a good example, my recent coach, total disaster, failure, right? Instagram strategy, really not suitable for our industry, not my vibe, irrelevant, right? I wasted 6 months on keep crying.
Now. I hope he will not listen to this podcast.
I wasted 6 months of on trying and no results, money lost. But you know, in all these courses, they had this tiny bonus model with LinkedIn optimization, like a 10-minute video, right? And I watched this video. I have done some changes on my LinkedIn. The morning after, the recruiter is calling, and I got my current job.
Wow.
So I believe when you invest in yourself, there's always a positive outcome, even if that's not the one you was hoping for. Well, at least you're eliminating options, right? Like, okay, this and this won't work for me. Now I know. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I keep doing it, and I believe like there's always a hidden value in it, even if you don't see it at first.
Right.
But I know that Stella, for example, was also investing in herself and education, and I was pretty surprised when you got this master's degree in blockchain.
Actually,
quite recently. So what is your takeaway on how to choose the right like education and mentorship?
Yeah, to be honest, this one, because I think we never even talked about the full story on this. Yeah, I got a master's degree in blockchain and digital currencies, but I got it as a scholarship from Coinbase, so I never actually paid for it.
Nice.
And it was just an opportunity, so I took it. And honestly, I didn't learn... Maybe I shouldn't say that on the podcast. I hope nobody from the university is watching, but I didn't learn so much from the courses themselves. But I think that it was a factor for me to differentiate myself in an industry which is still, you know, very early.
Yeah.
Nobody has like a master's in crypto, right? Like most people didn't even know it existed like 2 years ago. So when you approach people, I was doing a lot of BD before, and they see on your LinkedIn that you know, like, you do that. And also when you're a woman, people tend to underestimate you, right? They go like, do you know anything about crypto? Like,
that's so cool to hustle with
so
this.
you can say, yeah, I do have a master's degree. And okay, she knows what she's talking about. So in that sense, I would say that it was a good flex. But then most of what I learned was actually by meeting people, meeting founders all around the world, more than in traditional education.
But still, like, I think most of the people don't realize that there is such thing, right?
Yeah.
So I think
Still
that's
no.
the most, that's the hook, that's the catchy information here that, wow, actually, like blockchain is coming out of this great area and you can have masters in that discipline.
Absolutely.
But you're very consistent, like with posting about Dubai. Do you think when ADI was hiring you, they were kind of thinking ahead about your audience as well, and they understood that if they're gonna hire you, they're gonna kind of like invest in their brand image as well? It's like hiring an influencer is not hiring like a person without any personal brand.
Honestly, I think it was an indicator to become noticed, right? But I wouldn't say that they had in mind me becoming a spokesperson. In such organizations, these titles are usually reserved for council members, leadership, C-level executives. So I think that was more like grabbing attention, right? But I wouldn't say that was the main purpose or value.
Yeah, for sure, not the main purpose, but a good bonus. Like how
definitely.
many followers you have on LinkedIn?
Over 12,000.
Like imagine they have 12,000 like new followers, like very quality followers, very relevant ones.
Yeah.
And I think that was like a good bonus that they considered as
No,
well.
definitely. I think in general, building personal brand is helping you, right? Even if you don't do your own thing, it will definitely help you to get promoted, to get noticed, to get involved in different actions, because you just present yourself, you become credible, and you start having impact. So definitely a good thing to have.
Yeah, for sure.
I recently read research about growth of shares of companies, of like top 100 companies according to S&P, and you can see definitely a correlation between very strong personal brand of the founder, of the CEO, and the company itself. So on the level when you're trying to find a new job opportunity, it is really relevant to you to have a strong personal brand. And on the level when you're like a very strong CEO of a very big company, that's also something that you need to bear in mind 100%.
Sure. Actually, talking now about practical advice. If someone wants to build a strong and sustainable personal brand in 2026, where should they start according to you?
I would say two things for the personal brand, and the first one would be right positioning. Make sure you know who are you on the market, how do you position yourself among competitors, who is your target audience, who do you talk to. So before start posting everything everywhere, take a step back and think about strategy to be intentional in what you do. And the second thing, really important in my opinion, is to pick the right platform. I wasted years on trying to grow on a wrong platform, and you can be the best content creator on earth, but if no one is watching, it's just useless. So that would be two like very simple, actionable steps.
Okay, and which platforms did you choose?
I think LinkedIn. For me, it makes like the most sense. This effort reward ratio is the highest, and also once you're having a full-time job, you need to be really cautious about the time you're spending on that. And I think LinkedIn is providing you this opportunity to not be there like all the time. It's still maintaining and growing your personal brand and getting desired outcomes.
Okay. And when you start, is it better to experiment on different platforms at the same time and then pick one, or to actually fully dedicate yourself to one platform and really see if you get the results that you want? How do you choose?
I think it's pretty simple. You choose based on where your target audience is, right? So you need to ask yourself a question. Okay, whom do I speak to, right? And where they are present, where they are hanging out, right? And then you pick a platform according to the answer. I would say go on one platform and make it your main project. I would say it's also good to have some second backup account on a different platform, because we all know that these are not decentralized platforms, right? Each of them has an owner, and you can easily get blocked, banned, or removed anytime. So I think it's good to build your personal brand on one platform, but it's also good to have a second backup account somewhere else.
Okay.
So it's just not wasted, right? All the time you put into it.
For sure.
We're working a lot with the founders now in Web3 who are just starting their path, and especially they might be really great like entrepreneurs before, but they don't have any personal image and they don't have any media coverage. They don't know how to use LinkedIn or other socials. What are like 3 tips that you would give to those founders who want to influence, but they don't want to be like influencers? They want to be like strong entrepreneurs with a personal brand. What would be 3 tips in Web3?
I would say, like, before starting with these 3 tips, the first thing I would say is that don't call yourself an influencer and don't be afraid to become one, because these are 2 different terms, like being an influencer and building a personal brand, being a personal brand, right? When you're an influencer, you're making content to make money, right?
Yeah.
And when you're a personal brand, it's the opposite. When you're an influencer, you get paid to create content. And when you're a personal brand, you create content to get paid.
Yeah.
So when you're an influencer, content is your job. You make it to make money. But when you're a personal brand, you make it to build your name inside the industry. And I see many founders just scared of this tag of being an influencer. But that's 2 separate things.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid of it. And then coming to these 3 tips, I think the first one is really easy. Storytelling. So having a story, interesting story behind your brand, people are dying to listen to. I think that's the hottest thing you can have.
But how to differentiate, like, this is exactly the story that I want to tell to the wider community? Because many people, they just don't understand how to extract this story from
story is coming from your past. Story is coming from your past, and no one ever had a perfect life, right? So you just need to dive deeper into it and find these aha moments that turn your story, like that made a shift, that made a tangible change. And I think that's how you build it. And in the end, people want to learn, right? But they want to learn from your story and from the mistakes and from your learnings, not from 10 tips to XYZ, right? So having a story that is far from perfect makes you human, makes you authentic, and that's highly contributing to the trust, and to general interest in your person. So that's what I said. Storytelling.
People can relate to you.
Yes, storytelling, I think, is the hottest thing you can have. People dying to listen to your story. And then the second thing is that's something I already mentioned to Stella, positioning, right? Being crystal clear, what problem are you solving? Who is your target audience? What's your competitive advantage? How do you communicate with your audience efficiently? If you're gonna take a step back and answer all these simple questions, you'll be way ahead of your competitors who never bothered to go through this exercise. And the last thing is, that's a good one in my opinion, personal brands behind your company. Yes, as a CEO, you should have a personal brand, but no company is a one-man show. And I think you should never underestimate people working with you and their influence on your brand. They are all also like small personal brands around you, but they can elevate your brand, they can destroy it, they can win clients, they can lose them. So this is a really powerful tool, and I think you need to manage it carefully.
Yeah, probably you need to hire a good marketing person or the agency in case you really want to implement all these tips.
Tiny commercial, like a small commercial time.
Let's talk about branding because that's also one of your areas of expertise. A lot of companies, a lot of founders will not understand why they have to spend so much money on branding. They think that branding is just a matter of a pretty logo or a nice website. What do you say to that? What's your take?
Before I answer this question, I will tell you that once I had a conversation with a CTO of a company, and he told me, now, no marketing. We start marketing once the product is ready, once it's live. So I think that would be answering, like, why they underestimate it, right? There is I think a lot of tech-centric, product-centric approach in our industry, and still we fail to focus on the user. But coming back to your question, branding is your identity. It's the emotions and feelings people have while interacting with your brands. And I think a very good example is all the products we shop daily, like chocolate or
Cheese.
or cheese or coffee, right? Coffee is not just a logo. It's packaging, it's a design, it's a smell, it's a color, it's taste. It's also a price tag, right? And you can have a coffee that feels really affordable, cozy. You drink it from a mug once working on your laptop. And then you can have a coffee that feels like a premium product, even luxurious, that you drink it only from a fine cup with a nice view for your garden during a well-deserved break. And both of these coffees will sit on the same shop shelf, but that's the same product, yet it's not, right? And that's branding.
Right. What are examples of companies that you've worked with and you really had to work a lot on the branding, and what results did it bring to them?
I think all of them, to be really honest. Over the past years, I've been working only with blockchain and crypto companies. So I think that's a common struggle in our industry, underestimating branding. So definitely, with all of them, we went through this exercise of improvement, refinement, and it's a journey, right? It's not nothing fixed. But, in my opinion, of course, it depends on the target audience again. But it really impacts trust as well, right? If you are positioned as a product designed for institutions, for governments, for enterprises, your branding should reflect what they are seeking in this brand. They seek trust, they seek credibility, they seek serious image, they seek some innovation they are lacking or looking for, right? So all this should be reflected in your branding, and I think it has a direct correlation to how they perceive you as a brand.
Right.
And it has a direct correlation to potential willingness to cooperate.
But it's so hard to explain to founders that from getting to point A to direct results from marketing, you need to start with such things as branding. And sometimes they just don't understand this. And I'm pretty sure you worked a lot with founders who were seeking for results right now because of your marketing activities, but they had no proper branding, even landing instead of the proper website, right? We're doing this a lot. We're trying to convince people that they need to invest in a proper marketing and branding.
Yeah.
How did you manage to how did you manage to make it clear to these people that marketing is a very long journey where you need to invest?
Yeah. And just to add on this, I say we struggle a lot with this. I mean, things like branding and PR, which is the core of what we do, it's kind of hard to explain sometimes to people the value because they think of the direct ROI.
Yeah.
They think of it like performance marketing tool.
Yeah, like growth.
Yeah, but when you work on your reputation, the results are also very like big, but it's not. It's a bit harder sometimes to convince people of the importance of that.
I think I have a good answer to this one. And it's coming from the position of a personal brand of a founder. Yes, once you are transforming brands and brand identity, it takes months and these results are not tangible unless they are on an investor dinner and everyone will congratulate on a new website. That doesn't happen often. But you can easily see results for personal brands, like just small optimization of a profile, a new photo shooting, a new profile picture, new style of the post, and the guy is releasing about 10 publications over 3 weeks, and then he's getting a direct feedback from his friends, from his colleagues, from business associates, and then he will be like, okay, it actually works, right? I thought I don't need a photo shooting, I don't need to present myself, I don't need to post, but I think after 2-3 weeks of this exercise, he would be already seeing results, tangible results.
The feedback.
This actually works. And that's, I think, a first step to convince to a bigger change regarding the brands.
Right. I think we have similar thing with PR that some of our clients are like, oh, wow, everybody's messaging me now because this announcement has gotten viral. Exactly. And then they understand and then they see.
Exactly. Yeah. But first step, we need to convince them why it is important. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about boundaries a bit. So we all work a lot, right? We try to grind, we try to look for the best opportunity, and in Dubai it's really hard to split life and work, and you have to actually all the time you have to grind and to do something. You've worked a lot for the last decade, right? And now
I can see your face already says it all.
And now you step
a tiny bit.
Yeah, I can feel it. And now you're stepping into the corporate world. So do you have any boundaries right now compared to the beginning of your career?
Yes, absolutely. A lot has changed. And, I think crypto industry in Dubai is a pretty small circle. And the more you're living in it, then slowly you will start getting invited everywhere. Mm-hmm. And at first you're feeling this FOMO, you're feeling that you should show up everywhere to keep chasing leads, to keep chasing clients, to network, to be everywhere. And obviously I was in that train, but I got off. And right now, given my current situation and workload, I need to be really cautious to the opportunities I'm saying yes to. So I make my decisions based on 2 factors. The first one is kind of listening to my body. If there is an event, I said I'll be going, but I really don't feel like I feel tired. I feel I need more sleep, more rest. I don't really feel like interacting with other people. I would be forcing myself anymore. Mm-hmm. And the second thing is what's in it for me? Because I'm not currently in the position of chasing clients or leads. So would I be going just to show up and make a statement? It's not enough. So what's the value for me? Whether going to have an important conversation with a person who will be there, or whether to support a friend because he's the one throwing this party, or whether to maintain business relationship with someone I already work with. So there must be a tangible result and a reason for me to go. Otherwise, I would be skipping this one.
Yeah, I can totally relate. And do you have any advice for young girls who are just starting in crypto and who moved to Dubai and who have this huge FOMO?
My general advice to young and old women and men would be to be more intentional about what you do, not try to do everything everywhere all the time. Really spend much more time to step back and set a strategy for you. That's the way, to drive some results without a burnout.
Yeah, for sure. It could be a bit challenging to make a strategy, but I think like everyone who needs to have it one.
Yeah.
That's an exercise to go through.
You once wrote on your Instagram, I had no days off my first year in Dubai, and it looked like progress until it made me sick. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, so about 2 years ago, I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease. And I wrote that because I think it's really important to talk about it, because in Dubai especially, very often we see different people in social media hustling, working super hard, pushing to the limits. And very often you think like, wow, how is that possible? How he or she is making it? Where is this energy coming from, right? I'm already exhausted and they are pushing through even more. And the reality of that image is that very often these people are overworked, and it impacts their health, it impacts their relationships, it impacts their life. But they would never admit it on social media. So I think it's really important not to compare your productivity to someone else's image created just for the purpose of social, and to actually really listen to your body. Some people are stronger, some people are weaker, some would be sleeping 3, 4, 5 hours and they would be feeling all right. Some of them need more recovery. So I think right now that's a big learning for me to work with my body and in my own pace.
And here you're getting back to the roots of like personal brand strategy, because every story should be imperfect so that people can relate, people can find themselves in your story. So do you see that there is like a slight trend to tell like negative sides of like the business journey in social media, or there is
I don't
still
see this
something
trend, to be honest. I mean, I'm really transparent. I think I could say any story of my life to anybody, because I don't feel shame. I mean, I think, in the end, that made me the person I am today. But to be really honest, when I posted this story about from the fish market to crypto in Dubai, there was many people like, wow, I'm surprised you shared that. I would
Really?
never, that they were like surprised that I admitted I wasn't like a corporate professional from start, that I was doing really basic physical jobs. I was, let's be honest, till the age of 24, my knowledge about money, finance, economy, like how business works was really limited. I was living on the beach, like doing really simple things. But I also have a skill of learning fast, and I'm never a person afraid of something new. I'm always finding myself in a situation that, okay, if there is something I don't know, probably I would be able to learn it, because I proved it to myself 1 million times during my life. But I think many people is still scared to be judged, for their past, for their choices.
For sure.
So honestly, not so popular.
Maybe this is a trick that you need to use when building a personal brand that is not overused yet.
Yeah, actually,
well.
It brings a follow-up question. Do you think that people should share everything? Because there's conflicting argument about this. Some people might say, if you share everything, if you're always authentic, no one's got anything on you.
I think,
and people connect with you better because they feel your authenticity.
I think when you go into business communications, like you're building your personal brand, but you're building it to scale your business, I think it's good to mix your personal stories but with some business results, or business stories related to personal results. So I think you have to be healthy about your balance. I wouldn't be discussing my relationship in public. I wouldn't be discussing some issues. I wouldn't be discussing family issues. I wouldn't be discussing
sure.
my, I don't know, like some traumas, or like I
Yeah.
wouldn't be going that far. I think like I like to, it depends for the people. I like to have a boundaries and have like the side that stays behind closed doors, and it's not every minute of my life is not transparent to everyone.
Yeah.
I just share the stories for people and for women, especially young women, to make it helpful. You know, I was in my early 20s really lost person and really lacking self-belief, super uncertain, not aware of self-value. So I'm sharing the stories that I find relevant. But again, I try to tie them to some business outcomes or career outcomes.
Of course.
But I think it also depends on the social media that you are talking about. Like on Instagram, it's obviously everything is more personal than LinkedIn. But still, when we work with LinkedIn of our clients, we're trying to be like at least 10% of lifestyle content should be there, just so that people can feel more attached to this person.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think like platform also like makes a huge difference.
Thank you so much, Maria. It was super insightful. Now we're going to close with some rapid fire questions. So basically, I'm going to ask questions and you have to pick between two options. Do it as fast as possible without thinking, okay?
Let me turn.
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Quality or consistency?
Consistency.
Hard work or strategy?
Strategy.
Dubai or location-independent lifestyle?
Location-independent lifestyle, because then you can pick Dubai whenever you feel like.
Fair. Influence or credibility?
First credibility, then influence.
Okay. One project deep or 5 projects at once?
One project deep.
Okay. What's your biggest work-related fuck-up?
Working 6 months on an ebook store that got 5 sales in total.
Tough.
Wow.
What did you learn from this?
Again, I wouldn't say it was a wasted experience.
It never
is, because
sometimes you win, sometimes you learn.
one of the person spotted this, and I got another offer coming from it that was really beneficial at that time. So, as I said, investing in yourself always pays off, just not the way sometimes you're hoping for.
Amazing. One belief about success that you had to unlearn?
That success has limits. In Dubai, it doesn't.
Okay. One word or sentence that best describes you today?
One word, focused.
Okay. And what's your definition of known?
Known is, it means being known for your story, for your work, and for your impact, not just for your name or social handle. Thank
Yes,
you
it was
so
good.
much.
You're
Thank you so
free.
much. It was a pleasure.
This was Known by Input Global. Thanks for watching and don't forget to subscribe. Stay tuned for more.